Neil Jones today, I feel like I've been talking about Neil Jones a lot in recent times, but look, he's been very active and he's been very pretty good on giving his opinion on transfers and stuff. He's not afraid to say stuff if he thinks it's going to go against the grain. So he said that it doesn't look like Liverpool are going to offer Thiago Alcantara an extension past the current contract that he has that expires at the end of next season. And I want to know, do we sell him in this summer or would you like to see Liverpool keep him on? Now, the correct answer is I'd like to see Liverpool keep him on, but there's a caveat, and the caveat is the owners, because we both know, or I say both, we all know that if FSG could move on 200 grand a week and get in somewhat of a transfer fee for Thiago, they would, in my opinion. But I think the right decision would be to keep him at the club, to help Stefan Bajcetic, to give us another alternative. So what do you think? Should Liverpool look to get a fee for Thiago Alcantara in this window, or should we allow him to leave on a free next summer? Again, I'd be interested to hear what you think. So Bam Bam Baldwin said, I would sell him right now. Keep him, said Lance. Keep him for training young Stefan, said GDem. I'd sell for a good price, not going to lie. Don't want another Keita Iraq, said Michael. Let him go on a free, said Craig's Apple Crumble. Leave next summer, said LFC. Is it Zaki or Zacy26? I've said this for ages, said Matthew Lynch. Thiago deserves one more chance to win one of the big trophies for us. Hannah said let him go on a free. Keep him, said Mentality Monster. Free for Lil Maddie. Free, keep for Bochetti's development. So I'm gathering we're all okay with keeping him for the season. Good, because I think that's the right answer. I do. I think that is the right answer. Is there anybody who thinks that he should get a renewal? Let me pose that question. I think I'd probably get a different reply from me about this one. Lads, may sound stupid, but I wouldn't be shocked if Thiago would go for a big money move to Saudi Arabia. Not seeing any links. Actually, just not seeing any link to Thiago leaving Liverpool at all. I mean, a few months back there was some chatter about Barcelona, but they want to bring Messi back. They're looking at maybe Gundogan as well on a 3-year deal. I think they've offered him. So I don't know. What would be the number that would make you consider selling Thiago in this window with 1 year to go on his Liverpool contract? Jabba says 20 million for Thiago. Corin 25 to 35. With 1 year to go on his deal, you think that we're going to get more than we paid for him 3 years ago? The answer would be like 10, probably. I would imagine would be a number that's realistic for Thiago. I don't think anything near 20 million is realistic. Right, I want to go through the homegrown stuff, because lots of people have been asking me about the homegrown situation at Liverpool Football Club, and there was a very good article in The Athletic, so if you've got an Athletic subscription, definitely go read this one. It gives a really good insight into where Liverpool are with regard to the homegrown quota, what exactly it is, and what our squad may look like by the end of the window. Right, last season we had like this. Our non-homegrown players were Alisson, Adrian, Van Dijk, Kanade, Matip, Robbo, Tsimikas, Keita, Fabinho, Thiago, Arthur, Luis Diaz, Darwin Núñez, Diogo Jota, Bobby Firmino, Cody Gakpo and Mo Salah. They were non-homegrown players. Now every club, if they want to register the full 25 senior players with the Premier League, have to have at least 8 homegrown players, and then they can top that up at 17 non-homegrown players, and of course any players under the age of 21. So our homegrown players last season were Queeveen Kelleher, Joe Gomez, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Nat Phillips, Jordan Henderson, James Milner and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. Obviously, on top of that, we had some under-21s who were Harvey Elliott, Curtis Jones, Stefan Bajcetic, Calvin Ramsey and Fabio Carvalho. So, moving along, the exits of Arthur, Roberto Firmino and Naby Keita will open up 3 non-homegrown spots in Liverpool's Premier League squad. Again, this article is in The Athletic. Defo have a read of it if you can. If anyone in our Discord group hasn't got an Athletic subscription and would like to have a read of this, most of us get like 5 free passes that we can give out for a month to people if you have an Athletic subscription. So just let me know in the Discord group and I will happily share with you 5 of those passes. So it said, the exits of Arthur, Bobby Firmino and Naby Keita will open up 3 non-homegrown spots. So that gives Liverpool an opportunity to go in and fill those. They go on to say that last season, Curtis Jones and Harvey Elliott, alongside Fabio Carvalho and Calvin Ramsey, were in the under-21 category. The latter three will remain on that list, but Curtis Jones, who's now 22, will be registered and count towards the homegrown tally, taking us back up to potentially 6 homegrown players on the books. If Kelleher and Phillips move on this summer, then Liverpool's homegrown contingent will drop down to 4. And both of those guys look like they could well move on this summer. And this would limit Liverpool to a 21-man squad unless the summer recruits that we bring in includes a couple of homegrown players. Relative to all of this is the expectation that Adrian is likely to sign a new contract and remain at the club. There was frustration last season that the Spaniard was unnecessarily taking up a non-homegrown spot. Many Premier League clubs opt for a homegrown third-choice keeper to bolster their quota. Now, here's what we could look like with those players moving on. Never mind the non-homegrown players, that list is going to get full if we bring in 3 midfield signings that are, let's say, Alexis McAllister, Kone and Thuram. That would fill up the non-homegrown quota. That then leaves us with our homegrown players only featuring Joe Gomez, Trent, Jordan Henderson and Curtis Jones. So we'd have 4 spots that Liverpool would have to fill there in the homegrown quota, with Harvey Elliott, Stefan Bajcetic and Calvin Ramsey making options for the under-21, so not having to be registered as such as part of the 25-man squad. So if Liverpool added Alexis McAllister and Nice's Kefren Thuram and Borussia Mönchengladbach's Manu Kone, that would leave them with no non-homegrown places left to fill. Ryan Gravenberch could ease the problem initially. The 21-year-old Bayern Munich midfielder would be classed as an under-21 player as he was born on January the 1st, 2002. Reports linking Liverpool to Hannover 96's goalkeeper Ron Robert Ziegler as a replacement for Kelleher would be smart because, again, this would be a homegrown quota due to the fact that he was at Manchester United during 2005 to 2010. So that's where we're at with the homegrown quota or not. If we bring in the 3 midfielders we're linked with, we're filled with non-homegrown players and we need to start bringing in some homegrown players. So who will they be? Or do we go into the season perhaps with that quota not filled with a smaller squad? Won't Lavia count as homegrown? I would imagine so. Somebody in the chat will have the answer for that. Yeah, I would imagine he would. Now, he's obviously a Belgian international, I think, if my memory's right for Lavia, but I think he would. So can't put a 21-year-old in regular homegrown? Oh yeah, you could. Absolutely. But there's no need to. You know, if he's under 21, it doesn't need to go in the homegrown category, but you could. But sure, it doesn't change anything in your squad. You don't have to have 8 homegrown players. I need to get this point across to you. Think of it this way. The maximum squad that you can have outside of 21-year-olds or below is 25. 17 of them can be non-homegrown players. And pretty much every club has no problem filling the non-homegrown slots. But if you want to maximise your squad and have 25 players registered with the Premier League, 8 of those players, need to be homegrown. So there's no having to have 8, but if you need 25 players and you want to fill your squad, at least 8 of them have to be homegrown. But you don't have to have those 8. But you go in with a smaller squad.